Here we are today. We're going to move on to the second precept. The second precept. Now, again, the precepts are not commandments. They're guidelines for growing our hearts. Every precept has an aspect of restraint and an aspect of cultivation. And notice as I read the precept, notice each of those, okay? So here we go. Aware of the suffering caused by greed, exploitation, social injustice, stealing, and oppression. I undertake the training to not exploit others or any aspect of the environment, and form the intention to bring forth loving kindness and learn ways to work for the well-being of people, animals, and the natural environment. I undertake the training to practice generosity by sharing my time, my energy, and my material resources with those who are in real need. All right? So today I'd like to focus on the cultivation aspect of this practice. Our aim is to cultivate actually a sense of enoughness, of contentment with what we have. These mind states combat feelings of greediness because when we feel we have enough, when we're more likely to share and to be generous with ourselves and others. Western culture would have us believe that we won't be happy, that we won't have enough or feel enough unless we have the latest gadgets, fashions, and material goods. It tells us that we need certain things in order to feel good about ourselves, except that those things keep conveniently changing, which keeps us running after things. Western culture would have us believe that we should want more stuff, more power, more control, more autonomy. The result of this kind of mentality is that we never feel we measure up. We never feel we have enough or are enough. And so when occasions arise when we can take a little bit more or have a little bit more of what we want or need, sometimes with or without others knowing it, we do. How often do you tell the cashier that they've missed checking an item, right? Often we might just let it slide by and feel we've gotten away with just a little extra something. This is human nature. But my faith is restored in humanity when I see how neighbors rally after a big snowstorm and the power has been knocked out. How our neighbor with a snowblower will blow everyone's sidewalk, will clean everyone's sidewalk. And how our elderly neighbor, who died just a few years ago, was tended to for a number of years after his wife died by the kindness of his neighbors. These small acts of generosity are what restore my faith in fellow humans. But in everyday life, it's easy for us to get caught up in getting our own needs met. Mostly we're looking out for number one, ourselves. As a counterpoint to the consumerism and selfishness that we are subject to daily, I have an everyday practice of noticing and appreciating what is already here, what I do have, and not focusing too much on what I don't have. For example, all of us sitting here today have so many blessings to be grateful for. First of all of us woke up this morning. Really. I woke up this morning and before I got out of bed, I paused and noticed that I had woken up, that consciousness was here again. Second, our bodies, our minds, and our hearts are in relatively good working order, or we wouldn't be here. Now, this too is a small miracle. The body is able to move, the breath is still coming in, the heart is still beating, and the mind is already thinking and tracking what's happening. I didn't have to do a thing. Now, it won't always be so, but it is today. It is today. And so today I appreciate. Thirdly, None of us would be here if we didn't have the internet, if we didn't have a computer or a phone, and have the presence of mind to tune into something that uplifts our heart. Not everyone has the internet. Not everyone has a computer or a cell phone, but we do. Not everyone has the presence of mind to tune in to something that uplifts their heart, but we do. Now I'm just getting started. Most of us have what we need to live relatively comfortably. We have a roof over our heads. We have enough food. We have enough of the clothing that we need so we're not too hot or too cold. We have access to transportation, cars, buses, trains to get us where we need to go. We have conventional conveniences, microwaves, washers, dryers, coffee makers that make our morning coffee. Now, these may seem too ordinary to appreciate, but not everyone has easy access to these necessities for life or to the creature comforts that make our daily life a bit easier. We don't have to look very far to notice that we have more available to us than others. So I'd like to encourage all of us this month to take stock of what we do have, to give more attention to these things, and appreciate what is here. This counters the cultural pull of consumerism and selfishness that tells us we don't have enough or are not enough. For most of us, we have more than enough. And for many of us, we have grown beyond what our parents and grandparents could have ever imagined. Think about this. Imagine your ancestors were here today, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, and they could see all that was available to you. Wouldn't they marvel at you in your life? Take that to heart. Take that in. It's to be appreciated. So this month we will work with this second precept and encourage all of you to take stock in what you do have, to appreciate the many blessings of having our basic needs met, to appreciate the creature comforts that are near at hand. This is how we cultivate that sense of enoughness and how we relax into a sense of contentment. We can do this. It's for our welfare. It's for our welfare. So, thank you for your kind attention.